Hey, good morning, Warhawks. Colonel Schaefer here with Chief Butcher and a couple of guests this week. Last week we weren't able to come to you live, and so we're excited to be live again today. If you heard us last week, we were hosting a number of civic leaders, the Master's Leadership Program, with 40 civic leaders from across our San Antonio area. A great program and a great opportunity to showcase our mission here. But again, we're here live, and so this is exciting, and this is really kind of a great opportunity for Chief Butcher, who's our interim command chief, and he's here supporting us from his roots of DLI, our Defense Language Institute. So Chief, I'll kick it over to you to introduce our guests.
Right on. Well, good morning, Warhawk Nation. Once again, coming to you all the way live from Joint Base San Antonio, Lackland, 637 Training Group, otherwise known as Defense Language Institute English Language Center, from our Aviation Training Center. So this morning we have Mr. Terry Harsh and Mr. Rich. And did I get that right?
You did?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
This is live. So, yep. And coming. This is as Colonel Schaefer mentioned. I serve as the group superintendent here, when I'm not serving as the interim command chief for the 37th Training Wing. So happy to be amongst our DLI teammates and my home unit here at Lackland. Y'all want to give some shout outs?
If you could just introduce yourselves.
Sure.
Yeah, my name is Mr. Harsh. I had a rough leg, so that's why they named me Harsh. I'm the subject matter expert here in aviation instruction for both fixed wing and rotary wing. I've been here collectively for about 9 years. I was an Army aviator for 19 years, and I was a standardization instructor pilot where I taught other instructor pilots how to be instructor pilots. In addition, I was an instructor flight examiner for instruments and also an aviation safety officer. And I've been here trying to help out these students for, like I said, about 9 years now.
Okay. My name is Charles Rich. I'm a senior curriculum developer for DLI. Our job is to write the materials that you use in this lab, the plans for what we're doing. I also have worked with Flight Sim for a few decades, I guess. And so I've also stepped in to help get this operation up and running. I've been at DLI since 2004. I've been teaching aviation English since 2006. So that's the two of us right now trying to get this up and running and looking good.
Awesome, and that's really why we came to you here today. Is while this has been a project in the making for some time, it's been really the last month where it's been kind of fully executing, and so. And we've had a number of students already through the program and a number to come, and so just a great example of the innovations that we continue to do even in the pandemic, and some of the future potential of the mission. So, Chief, any more on DLI's mission? This is the first time we've hosted an event in one of our DLI facilities, and so it'd be great to showcase not just what the SimLab does, but the other partnerships that our language training provides.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, this is definitely not as a widely known mission when folks think about 37 Training Wing. We think about BMT, basic military training. We think about half of the Air Force, almost half of the Air Force's tech schools are in the 37 Training Group. And of course, IAFA, right? A lot of folks are familiar with IAFA's mission. But right across the street from IAFA, we have this beautiful campus of the DLI. And sometimes we get mixed up with Monterey. For most of us that deployed, we're probably familiar with DLI FLC, the Foreign Language Center, because we have to do certain modules and things like that before we go downrange, or maybe you have to attend courses before you go into a deployed AOR. But here, we teach English language. And this is, we partner with about 114 to 120 partner nations every year. And we teach average about 3,000 international military students. As well, DLI is truly a joint unit. We have a Navy detachment, a very small Navy detachment. The Navy is part of this as well. And then we have 2 Army companies. One of them is Army Echo Company. And the unique mission here that they have is we have Army drill instructors, campaign hat wearing drill instructors, just like our Air Force military training instructors right down the road. And the whole mission of DLI, just kind of go back to that, is to get English language skills right up to acceptable standards for our international students, as well as our Army Echo Company students, to send them off to follow-on training. And so if you go to PME courses in the Air Force, or if you go to tech training courses, military, civilians, right, throughout the enlisted officer ranks, joint, so we have international students from Army, Navies, and Air Forces all around the world that come through here. They learn English. We get both their oral proficiency as well as their written proficiencies up to standards, and then we send them out to follow-on training. And then the Army Echo Company, just talk about them a little bit more too. So 37 Training Wing, basic military training. Army, they're here to learn English, but they get a good taste of Army BCT here as well. They are doing the PT 5 days a week. You're getting the 0, dark 100 wake-up calls and things like that. So they're very much getting that experience while they're here. And then we send them off to one of 3 Army basic training sites. And so that's a little bit about that. And then when you think about even so this aviation language piece here, we do specialized courses as well. So as I mentioned, we teach English language, right? And we teach just kind of basic, and we can send folks out to follow on training. But also we have certain specialized courses and features that DLI offers our international partners, such as this. They can help folks, whether you're an aviator or maybe you're air traffic controller, somebody that's in the business of the flight line, if I could just kind of say that. And we will teach them terminology. We will teach them how to listen to, picture that air traffic controller who's got the headphones on, and he or she is hearing all kinds of traffic. And so that's a step up from just reading and writing basic English, right? So we will actually teach that specialized English and make sure they're familiar with what their experience in that follow-on training. It's a very neat mission. I tell you, I'm honored to serve here. I've been on the ground about 8 months, and a couple months I've been up at the wing at this point. So it's and coming in during the pandemic. That's why Mr. Ridge, right? I had to make sure I had his name right, because it's the first time I met him in person today.
Yeah.
Right? And I think you're going to talk about that, ma'am, about how COVID is, we're at that year mark, and all the challenges that has presented. But I'll tell you, and I'll get off my soapbox, but very proud of everything this DLI team has done. Prior to my arrival, within 2 weeks, we really shifted from an in-resident platform to virtual training options. So just like the Air Force said, maintain your training pipeline, and we needed to do that. We needed to do that to keep our enemies at bay. DLI had to do the same thing. IAFA, right? All the missions under 37 training, we were able to do it. And this DLI team came together and said, hey, how can we maintain our pipeline? How can we continue to teach English? How can we continue to make sure oral written proficiencies are up to standards? And we've maintained this international student pipeline as well.
That's awesome, Cheif. And knowing that you and I were both coming out of the Pacific to come here, and I've had the privilege of being stationed in Europe as well, and so we can't say enough about how important it is that we not only speak some of the same language, but we reinforce the same values. And so our students, when they come here, and we are able to provide them additional skills that will allow them to go back into their home countries, and whether we're flying beside each other or doing other things, it's just so important. And that all starts here, really. And so the pride that the work that you put into this, we know this isn't just a sim lab that kind of started and you were checking a box, right? And I know our viewers can't see everything in the room that we're in, and so maybe we'll give you a virtual tour later. But a lot of this was you, right? You putting in the work. The beautiful mural behind us, speaks to a lot of the heritage, and so just a lot of great passion. And Cheif, you never need to apologize for being on the soapbox for talking about the team and the great work we do, because that's the pride of being a Warhawk, right? That's
good. I'll jump back on there then.
All right.
Really, this is it may sound stump speech like, but I'll tell you one thing that I really enjoy about being the group superintendent. I've been in the Air Force 25 years. I've deployed multiple times, and as you mentioned, ma'am, I'm coming out of the tour out of the Pacific, been serving all around the world. And sometimes the international partners, right? So one thing about the military, we don't tend to fight our wars alone in this generation. We fight as coalitions, right? We present forces as coalitions. DLI is all about that. This is grassroots and making that happen, forming relationships, And I can tell you, our first sergeant, Dan Mason he's our first sergeant for DLI. Him and I were talking, and how we've served in different regions of the world, and some of the international partners that we served with will point back to, hey, I've been to San Antonio too. And then Sergeant Mason and I, being enlisted members, we're thinking, what? But now we get it, serving in this great unit. So.
Yeah, and just as much as we have students come here and receive training, we send a number of our folks around the world, and so today we have folks in countries around the world helping raise the proficiency of our partner nations. And so again, just gentlemen, thank you for representing your entire organization.
Okay.
Thank you what you're doing to provide innovation and new ways to make sure that our partners have the skills that they need to perform the mission. So awesome.
Proud to do it.
Thank you. Yeah. So Chief, I know you're on your happy dance right now. I think you got some more happy news that you want to share with the team.
So happy news, well, at least happy news coming. Really, last week we had the opportunity to celebrate our team, right, the accomplishments and how we fought through 2020. An amazing award ceremony and innovation at its finest. Standing in front of a small crowd, but then having hundreds and I don't know how many other people, were tuned in. We had this, big screen on the back with people doing thumbs up and doing shout outs from afar. Really cool. But we've got Senior Master Sergeant promotion results coming out Monday. Public release is Monday morning, so really pulling for all of our senior NCOs that were eligible. Good luck, fingers crossed, and look forward to celebrating some more of our team members. Monday they public release, and then Wednesday we have the opportunity at least for promotees, their families, and then command teams. The JBSA top 3 and the 37 Training Wing top 3 have teamed up to put on a very small promotion ceremony announcement type of thing. But we still have to do things smartly, right, as we come out of this, as things continue to get better for the pandemic.
Thanks, Chief. We had a lot of announcements last week, and thankfully some ability to digest it over the last week. One thing we didn't include was the SECDEF released his new priorities. So Secretary Austin, new Secretary of Defense, and so he released some priorities last week to help us understand where he wants us to go as a military. And many of you saw it. It was defending the nation, taking care of our people, and succeeding through teamwork. Certainly our Warhawk principles, our focus areas, people modernization and partnerships are rightfully aligned. And so great work for the team. And as Chief said, we just had a great event, being able to come together, celebrate not only our award nominees, but the success of the team. And so you kind of hinted at it earlier. March 12th, today, really marks about a year since we started making a lot of significant changes across our mission set, specifically graduation and some other obviously more public events. And so we recognize, I think all of you, I've seen number of friends and family posting things online to say, a year ago, right? And so in some cases that can feel a little bit burdensome, but in some ways we can look back. I mean, look at this place that we're sitting in. A year ago, would we have had this vision and this had maybe the momentum, the catalyst to do things like this? And so I'd ask the team really, while we hope for some additional ability to resume some normalcy, please celebrate the innovations and the changes that have resulted in positive things for the mission and for you as a family. And so it's certainly been an honor to watch a lot of it, as the Chief and I talked about coming in the middle of it all. But the team has just had some amazing successes, and we're certainly proud. So with that, we'll see any questions or comments from the feed, ladies?
Yes, ma'am. So one question that we're getting from 2 parents, and we were in the process of responding on here, but if you could just address it for a second. They're asking about once their trainees have graduated from BMT and they're going to a tech school, are they able to go off base and visit their family and things like that?
Yeah, that's a great question, and we know everybody's trying to figure out when am I going to be able to see my son or daughter or my cousin or my fiance. What I can't do is speak for probably every installation because a number of the installations are at different variances. Obviously here in Texas, the rules are evolving as we know it, same in Mississippi. And so, and usually our students go through phases of, you know, privileges. And so I would just ask you to stay in touch with your family member, make sure that they understand the processes and really ask them the questions. Again, we're trying to think smartly through this, knowing that we really want to be able to reunite families with their loved ones, but we're also trying to make sure the safety and security of our mission set and making sure our folks can get off to their first duty station after they go to tech training. So apologize, I don't have a perfect answer for you, but certainly know that that is our goal down the road is to be able to reunite you with your loved ones.
Yes, ma'am, that was it.
Okay, great. Chief, anything more? You're on your soapbox. I'll let you be on your soapbox a little bit more.
I'm all out, ma'am.
You're all out. Okay. Well, team, thank you. Again, we wanted to really spend the time today mostly showcasing the DLI mission because it is so neat, so unique. We don't think it needs to share the stage with a lot of other news and whatnot. And so again, gentlemen, thank you for being here with us.
Sure.
I'm looking forward to testing out the sim after this. And team, please, if you want to know more about DLI, hit us up. I know we've pushed out a number of stories about the students that come through here and the faculty and all the great work, but we'd love to share more as you have an interest. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Warhawks train to win.